Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and today we're here with a video on jobs that many of the people in Congress seem to have before they end up in Congress. Now, we'll start off first with this article from Roll Call because it's a older one. Of course, we're no longer in 2014-15. We're almost a decade out, but still, with they talk about uh, actress, opera singer, former linebacker jockeying for Congress. It's again apparent that there's no professional barrier to mounting congressional or even a Senate campaign. And the best candidates tend to be the ones who really connect personality wise. So yeah. Now, uh, some of them begin with their own professions, their own businesses. Um, and of course, there's no shortage of lawyers, former state legislators, members of Congress who used to be in the state legislation, and governors, former governors walking the halls of Congress. But which professions make, I won't say the best candidates, but most often lawyers. And this is something I see if you've ever checked out my um, playlists. I'm on right now the 118th Congress. We're taking a look each day at different member of Congress and their donors. And yeah, lawyers a huge one. So many are lawyers. It they just a lot of them. They went to college, got a G.E.D, a department, a shoot, a justice degree, doctrine degree. I'm not sure, but anyway, you'll see they'll attend a lot of law school. A lot of them will have been lawyers. State legislatures and elected officials. So yeah, there's a good number that were in former um, bodies of legislation. You'll see former um, governors, former state legislators. Um, Virginia, my home state, the two senators were both formerly governor. So yeah. Now, three, we have political aides and operatives. At least 17 members of that year's freshman class have worked as aides to federal elected officials or candidates. Yeah, if you look back at a number of um, members of Congress, you'll find they worked under other members of Congress. Quite common. For small business owners. Yeah, you'll see some of them talk about being, business owners. They built it by their own hands, blah, blah, blah. Like what was that idiot who was about to start a fight with Sean Fain? Because he's like, I'm a business owner. I made money on my own. Oh, fuck. Anyway, next, CEOs and executives. Yeah. Bigwigs in corporations. And again, a lot of these professions overlap. don't mean they were solely just one. Some members of Congress held two or three of these different things. Like the next profession that often sees them, military and law enforcement veterans. You'll see many with a military background. So yeah. Next, clergy. This isn't hugely often, but you do see it. Um, some of them do have experience with being the pastor or head of a church. Again, it's not a common thing, but you do see it in jobs. The professions. If you look up, um, I think it's bioguide.congress.gov, which will give you a synopsis of the background of who they are, where they were born, colleges they went to, and jobs they've held. I think that's the right address, bioguide.congress.gov. Anyway, yeah, you occasionally see pastor in there. Next, doctors. You do see a good number of doctors or physicians. Next, celebrities. It isn't hugely common, but it does happen. Um, and I think one of the more famous ones was Sonny Bono, formerly of Sonny and Cher, was elected in California. So yeah, and then the last one they listed, um, academics. So yeah, which I think we need more people with more intelligence and understanding to be elected. Hopefully, you know, people with integrity. Jamal Bowman used to be a principal, so yeah, a high school principal. I can't remember if it's high school or middle school, but yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and head over here. Thought Co. Members of Congress by profession, and again, this is 2020. Yeah, um, he was Ronald Reagan. Never a member of Congress, but he was a big name actor and became governor of California and former president. So yeah, business and law, former political positions in state and local government, and it lists the more unusual professions: car dealer, rodeo announcer, welder, funeral home owner, software engineer, physician. The whole physician dentist thing, you still will see a good number of them. Veterinarian, psychiatrist, psychologist, optometrist, nurse, minister. Like I said, pastor, minister, it's not that common, but it does happen. Uh, Physicist, engineer, microbiologist, radio talk show host, journalist, accountant, pilot, astronaut, professional football player. There have been a couple who tried to get in, so who had played professional football. Filmmaker, farmer, almond orchard owner, uh, vintner, fisherman, social worker, stockbroker. So while some of them are professions you may not realize, you know, fishermen's, pilots, astronauts, farmers, you'll see a lot of the same ones: business owners, stockbrokers, lawyers. Yeah. But with that, let's hop over here. This is um, a report on Congress from, says csrreports.congress.gov. So it is officially a government website, and it's showing membership of the 118th Congress, a profile. What we want to look at is, where was it? Occupations, which is page 2. So yeah. And with that, that means we go age and occupations. The CQ.com provides data on occupations declared by members of Congress on the 118th Congress. The most common professions are law, business, and public service/politics. For example, 30% of House members and 51% of senators have law degrees and have practiced law. So yeah, 352 members, 80% of the House, and 82% of senators, the Senate, have served as public servants or elected officials at the local, state, and federal level before arriving in Congress. And remember, some of these professions sometimes many times, as a matter of fact, overlap. Because I thought about making this video after seeing how many were law. It's like, how many of these people have law degrees? But anyway, CQ data also indicates at least 136 House members, 31% of the House, and 26 senators, 26% of the Senate, have been owners, founders, and executives of businesses or companies. A closer look at the range of prior occupations and previously held offices of members of the House and Senate at the beginning of the 118th Congress is listed in their CQ member profiles. Also shows the following: 44 senators with previous House service. So almost half of your senators formerly served in the House of Representatives. 101 members, I'm assuming in Congress overall, who have worked in education, including teachers, professors, instructors, school fundraisers, counselors, administrators, or coaches. 78 in the House and 23 in the Senate. So yeah, 101 overall. Let's see. 4 positions in the Senate and 16 positions in the House, plus 5 dentists, 1 psychologist in the House, an optometrist in the Senate, 5 pharmacists in the House, and 3 nurses, and 1 emergency medical technician, all in the House. 41 former mayors, 34 in the House, 7 in the Senate, 13 former state governors, all in the Senate, and 10 lieutenant governors, former lieutenant governors, 6 in the Senate, 4 in the House. 6 attorneys general of their states, all in the Senate, and 6 former secretaries of state, 2 in the Senate, 4 in the House. Uh, 16 former judges, all but 1 in the House, and 32 prosecutors, 6 in the Senate, 26 in the House, who have all served in city, county, state, tribal, federal, or military capacities. 3 former ambassadors, 1 in the Senate, 2 in the House. 264 former state or territorial legislators, 45 in the Senate, 219 in the House, including 2 delegates and a resident commissioner from Puerto Rico. At least 77 congressional staffers, 16 in the Senate, 61 in the House, including 3 delegates, as well as 4 former congressional pages, 1 in the House and 3 in the Senate. 3 sheriffs, 4 police officers, 1 fire chief, 1 firefighter, 1 parole officer, 2 CIA employees, and 1 FBI agent, all in the House, 1 Peace Corps volunteer in the House, and 1 AmeriCorps volunteer in the Senate, 2 physicists and 2 chemists, all in the House, and 1 geologist in the Senate, 9 engineers, 8 in the House and 1 in the Senate, 19 public relations, marketing, or communications professionals, 29, 3 in the Senate, 26 in the House, and 5 accountants, 1 in the Senate, and 4 in the House. So yeah, we've got more. 4 software company executives in the House and 2 in the Senate, 42 consultants, 7 in the Senate, 35 in the House, 5 car dealership owners, all in the House, and 5 venture capitalists, 1 in the House, 4 in the Senate, 11 bankers or bank executives, 1 in the Senate, 10 in the House, 25 veterans of real estate, 2 in the Senate, 23 in the House, and 10 members who have worked in the construction industry, 1 in the Senate, 9 in the House, 6 social workers, 2 in the Senate, 4 in the House, and 5 union representatives, all in the House, 24 nonprofit executives and or founders, 22 in the House, 2 in the Senate, 2 radio talk show hosts, both in the House, 4 radio or television broadcasters, managers, or owners, 3 in the House, 1 in the Senate, 10 reporters or journalists, 1 in the Senate, 9 in the House, and 2 newspaper publishers, both in the House. Let's see. 11 insurance agents or other or executives, 3 in the Senate, 14 in the House, and 16 members who have worked in the securities and investment industries, 3 in the Senate, 13 in the House, 1 artist, 1 book publisher, and 1 speechwriter, all in the House, and 2 documentary filmmakers in the Senate, 7 restaurateurs, as well as 3 coffee shop owners and 1 wine store owner, all in the House, and 1 brew pub owner in the Senate. 31 farmers, ranchers, and cattle farm owners, 8 in the Senate, 23 in the House, 1 almond orchard owner, 1 crops nursery owner, as well as a forester, a fruit orchard worker, and a horse trainer, all in the House. 1 flight attendant and 4 pilots, all in the House, and 1 astronaut in the Senate. 2 professional football players, 1 hockey player, 1 baseball player, and 1 mixed martial arts fighter, all in the House, and 6 current members of the military reserves, 5 in the House, 1 in the Senate, and 5 current members of the National Guard, all in the House. And outside that, there's several members of Congress who have just served in the military, even though they're no longer in it. But yeah. And other occupations listed in CQ member profiles include emergency dispatcher, rideshare driver, animal nutrition specialist, waiter, electrician, rodeo announcer, reporter, video game developer, computer systems analyst, software engineer, R&D lab executive, and explosives expert. So yeah, there's a lot of jobs that just don't show up. But most of the jobs that you often see, yeah, law. So many law members. Yeah, former state or territorial legislators. I mean, that's half. Half of Congress served in state or local elections. Or local government positions. Not to mention former mayors, former governors were, I think they mentioned that separate as well, governors, judges, attorneys generals. So you've got, yeah, governors. So look at this: mayors, governors, attorneys generals, as well as secretaries of state, former judges on different levels, 3 former ambassadors, and then they've got 264 former state or territorial legislators. So a lot of them have worked in former lower levels of government. It's ridiculous, but yeah, law is one of the huge ones. 51% of senators. That's just over half of the senators. Almost a third of House members have law degrees or have practiced law. You'll see that a lot if you read up on them. Like I said, I do a series looking at the members of Congress, one a day, so. And yeah, you see a lot of members of law. Like I said, a lot of members of state, local government. 80% of the House and 82% of Senate. Look at that. It's all, both over 80%. So yeah. 80% of Congress have worked on different levels of government. before arriving in Congress. Then former owners, founders, and executives of business, 31 and 26%. So, quarter of the Senate, almost a third of the House. Like I said, many of these overlap. So often you'll see lawyers who also work other levels of government. Or you'll see business owners who served in the military and, yeah, a lot of that kind of stuff. But let's take a peek here at education. As has been true in recent Congresses, a vast majority of its members, 93.8% of House members, and 99% of senators at the beginning of the 118th Congress have earned at least a bachelor's degree. 64% of House members and 79% of senators hold educational degrees beyond a bachelor's. Masters, laws degrees, doctorates. So almost 80% of senators, over almost two-thirds of the House have those high-level degrees. So if you want to try to run for Congress and you don't have a bachelor's, your chance of getting elected. Hold on. Let me see how close I can get. It's like that. It's ridiculous. 23 members of the House have no educational degree beyond a high school diploma or GED. 23 members. And I'm assuming it's no senators. 25 members of the House and one senator have an associate's degree as their highest degrees. I have an associate's degree, and I took a lot of classes but ran out of funds before I could get my bachelor's. So, yeah, 107 members of the House and 20 senators earned a master's degree as their highest attained degrees. 132 members of the House and 30.5% at 30.5% of the House and 51 senators, or just over half, hold law degrees. 12 representatives and 4 senators have doctoral, PhD, Phil, EDD, or D-Min degrees. So, yeah, they had to spend and get their doctoral degrees. It's getting thin up there, but yeah, it's a rarity. And 21 members of the House and 5 senators have medical degrees. So yeah, your most common is bachelor. Yeah, bachelor and then masters. Then you get to people who don't hold anything more than high school diploma or GED. And then doctoral. The rarest is those with only an associate's degree. So, yeah, to be a member of Congress, it does you so much to already have that huge leg up. Having been in well to do occupations, having a degree or two or three. Yeah, it is, yeah. But I just wanted to go over this because, like I said, I've been doing the 118th Congress, look at each member of Congress, and there was so many I saw. Law, law, law. Over half of senators, law degrees or practice law, and almost a third of the House. Yeah, we're we need more people who serve on the ground level. Members who work in construction, who teach, who are bus drivers. You know, you see why it's so hard to get some things through because they work in high value jobs. It reminds me of the guy who was like, I don't really even need this job. I was making more money when I wasn't a member of Congress. Well, go back to being somebody who ain't a member of Congress. We don't want you taking money just because it's offered to you to get somebody else's ideation passed through. No, we want somebody who works for the country as a whole, for all the people, not just a handful of the rich and powerful. But we'll end this there. As always, educate thyself. Think, read, study, learn. Someone tell you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. I'll be posting my sources, these links, in the description box below the video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, later.